Yes team, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hope you are well. Today's video is about drop sets and supersets. I'll be explaining exactly how and when to use drop sets and supersets to build muscle and make your workouts more efficient. If you like this sort of content, drop the video a like, and we are gonna get into today's tips. My name is Dan and I simplify losing fat and building muscle. Let's get into today's video. Drop sets and supersets are advanced training techniques, and there's been a bit of confusion around here. People assume that automatically using them makes your workouts more intense, therefore you will be building more muscle. Now, while this is inherently not necessarily true, I will be explaining and debunking these sort of myths and telling you when exactly you should be using them. Now stick around till later in the video as well, because I've got a free fat loss guide for you and free training programs available. So I'll be explaining in these guides exactly how to get in shape and follow a plan in the gym. Let's get into drop sets and supersets. So what are drop sets and supersets? Drop sets are where you perform a set for a particular weight, typically to failure, somewhere in the say 6 to 12 rep range, and then you drop the weight and without resting perform another set until failure. Now this is an effective way of speeding up your workouts because you are reducing rest periods. Supersets is where you perform 2 exercises back to back and then rest afterwards. Again, these are more time management tools than anything else. And there's been confusion around drop sets and supersets making your workouts build more muscle, when in actual fact the main benefit of them is simply saving time. So the main benefit associated with drop sets and supersets is going to be shortening your workout time and just allowing you to get enough good quality sets in, enough volume without resting for as long, and this can be beneficial if you are in a rush. What are the common drawbacks of supersets and drop sets? Now, like anything good, there comes with the bad as well. So just because we are speeding up our workouts and making them more efficient, it does come with added fatigue and recovery demands. Now, one of the most common mistakes I see with drop sets and supersets is putting them too early in your workout. Now, if you start your workout with, say, a drop set where you perform, let's say you perform like a bench press for 3 sets of 8, and on the first set you then didn't rest afterwards and you went into 2 heavy drop sets straight afterwards, because you are increasing the fatigue by shortening the rest period, the performance on your subsequent exercises in the rest of that session are going to be impacted. Similarly, if you perform a superset, let's say you pair a bench press with a row for your back, a seated row, let's say. Now, if you perform these 2 exercises back to back and then rest, you've just performed 2 compound exercises, so multi-muscle group movements, multi-joint movements. You just paired them together, which are quite intense exercises, and you've given yourself limited rest. So this is going to have a knock-on effect for the rest of your workout. So my main tip with drop sets and supersets is, if you are going to utilize them, place them towards the end of your workout, therefore they're not going to impact the performance on the other exercises during your session. So for example, you could perform triceps at the end of a push day and perform that in drop sets fashion. So let's say you go for a tricep push down, and instead of doing 3 sets where you rest 2 or 3 minutes between sets, you do 1 heavy set for 8 reps, you then drop the weight by 20%, and you then perform another set without resting, and then you perform a 3rd set, so a second drop set, 3 sets in total, and you take that to failure after dropping another 20% on the weight. Now you've just performed 3 decent quality sets at the end of your session, which are going to be pretty intense, and all of these reps are going to be challenging for you, which is what we want. But you've just shaved off, a few minutes at the end of the session, and so if you've got to get out the door on the way to work or something like that, then this can be an effective strategy with drop sets. Now, how do you use supersets effectively? Now, supersets are performing 2 exercises, as I said, back to back. What you don't want to do is pair 2 exercises on the same muscle group back to back, because performance will pretty much drop off significantly, and you are going to get a bit less out of it. Whereas if you pair opposing muscle groups, so for example chest and back, a common superset pairing could be, say, biceps and triceps as well. So you're much better off pairing, say, a chest press and a seated row, which is going to be back and biceps, mainly triceps, chest, front delts for the chest press. Now those are opposing muscle groups, so you're not going to have too much knock-on effect on performance. Whereas if you paired a bench press and, say, like an incline dumbbell press or a chest fly, you've just paired two exercises together back to back of the same muscle group, which is not going to be as effective, and you'll have more significant knock-on effect in recovery and poor performance. Similarly, if you're going to do supersets, I recommend potentially pairing either an upper body exercise and a lower body exercise. So you could pair, you know, a leg press and then a lateral raise or something like that for shoulders, because there's not much carryover between the two. Now, similarly, with biceps and triceps, this is quite a good pairing for supersets. Quite a lot of people like an arm day, or pairing a bicep exercise and a tricep exercise, because there's not too much carryover peripheral fatigue, meaning fatigue within the individual muscles. Another common mistake I see with drop sets is dropping the weight by too much. Now, we have to remember the bigger picture here. How do we build muscle? Well, we train close enough to failure, typically within 1 to 3 reps of failure. This is known as reps in reserve. So how many did you have left in the tank on a working set? We don't want to leave more than, say, 1 to 3. Now, in order to, once we've established that training intensity, we need to progress the weights over time. So you always need to think of the bigger picture. How am I going to build muscle? Well, it's increasing the weights over time, which is progressive overload. That is the best measure of your training effectively working, right? If you are using drop sets and supersets and then the weights are stalling in the gym and you can't increase the weights over time, it's probably suggesting that your recovery is impaired. Now, how do we use drop sets in this case to build muscle? Well, we want to not drop the weight by too much, because if you go from a heavy set with a challenging weight and drop the weight by 50, 60, 70%, and you're just there doing a bicep curl for 30, 40, 50 reps, the weight is too light, and hardly any of those reps are going to be stimulating or effective reps for muscle growth. So instead of dropping the weight massively on a drop set, you want to just drop by about 20% roughly. And this could be equivalent to just going down 1 on the stack on a cable stack, for example. So if you're doing, say, tricep push downs on the cables with a rope and you're coming down, maybe just drop by the weight by about 20%, which is going to be 1 or 2 pins down on the stack. Then go again. You should only be able to get about 6 to 8 reps on that drop set if you've not dropped the weight too much. And then if you want to do, you know, a second drop set, again, just drop again by a small amount or a small increment, another 20%. And this way, you're mitigating increased fatigue, because you're performing, say, a set of 6 to 10 in the first set, only dropping the weight a little bit. All of those reps are going to be challenging, which is what we want. They're going to be effective reps for muscle growth. And then if you want to do another drop set and push relatively close to failure on that set, again, most of those reps are going to be useful reps, and you're not going to just incur more fatigue by doing 30, 40, 50 reps on a super light weight. So always don't go too light on your drop sets if you are going to use them. In summary, drop sets and supersets, this is how you go about using them. For drop sets, make sure that you're not decreasing the weight by a massive amount and you're doing about a 20% drop, and making sure that the following drop sets, most of the reps are challenging enough. Supersets pair exercises that don't impact performance too much between each other. So for example, pairing biceps and triceps, pairing an upper body and a lower body exercise, rather than, say, 2 chest exercises. Also, think about using drop sets and supersets towards the end of your workout, so that the subsequent exercises, if you were to perform at the start of the session, would be significantly impaired. So you do not want to be doing these too early in the workout, because it will impact your performance and impact recovery. If you use it as a time management strategy towards the end of a session, you can save a bit of time and not do too much damage in terms of recovery. So this is how you go about using drop sets and supersets. in a simple fashion to build muscle in less time. As promised, if you would like a free fat loss guide to get yourself in shape and a free training program to follow time efficient workouts involving drop sets and supersets discussed in this video, I'm going to link the free fat loss guide in the video description. I'll link a video here that I did in more detail on a efficient training program that you can follow if you are interested, and there is a free download available here. Drop me a DM on Instagram with the word dropset and I'll send the free training program to you myself as well. There you go in terms of the freebies. Hope you enjoy. I really hope you found today's video useful. If you did, reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop the video a like because it really helps the channel grow. And if you are interested in taking your results to the next level, I can help you achieve incredible results. You can see that some of my client results on my website, which is linked in the video description. Inquiry forms are there if you are interested in online coaching services. My door is always open to help you guys out. So if you have any questions at all about this, drop them in the comments, let me know what you'd like to see going forward, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great rest of your day and I will see you later on.